What is up, everybody? Welcome into episode 3 of Diary of an Ex-Marvelhead. So excited we have another guest this time, a fellow whatnotter. You guys might know him as Graymalkin Gaming. So we'll bring Gray in here. Let's get into it. Let's keep rolling with the fun. So welcome in, Gray. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Ian, what's up, man? Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us, man. This is awesome. I've been talking about this for how long?
At least 3 years, probably. At least.
Probably, right? It's been forever. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on because I've always wanted to have somebody else who's on Whatnot, nice streamer, come in here, just chat it up, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, good deal. So, just for everybody who's not, because we're gonna have a lot of people who are not on Whatnot, not necessarily know what it is, or they just not on there at all. So, just give us a little bit of background on yourself and what you do.
Oh man. Okay, so Graymalkin Gaming is the name that I picked up 5-6 years ago now, and it comes from my sheer enjoyment of Cable from the comics. Right, a lot of people, more recently, people are starting to pick up the reference because you see it now in some of the X-Men movies where the professor's school, right, is on Graymalkin Lane. And it's fun because I'll get messages of like, hey, I know where you got your name now. And I'm like, kind of, yes. That's just another reference. But for anyone who does not know, Graymalkin is the name of Cable's space station, where when he body slides, it's kind of like his home, right? And when I heard it, I was like, man, that's just a cool name, so man, I've been into comics, collecting cards since I was 10-ish. I mean, I had a paper route when I was 9 years old, and I was spending my paper route money on Batman the movie cards.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of where it started, right? Sports was always a thing, but I started getting into the Batman movie, and then I came across 1990 Impel Series 1. I was like, oh, these are awesome. And that's kind of where the love grew. So anyways, so I've been a collector off and on for a very long time. I'm a Jesus lover. I'm a husband. I'm a father to 3 amazing daughters. And I'm a collector, and
nice.
So, we were off Whatnot for a little while, getting back in the swing of things, doing more shows regularly, trying to do at least a couple per week, and just trying to re-engage with the community, the old community, and there's a ton of new people too. So it's been a lot of fun.
It's been crazy, hasn't it, over the years?
Yeah.
Awesome. So started the 90s. So 90s till now, like what was your collecting like?
What was it? What is the best word to describe it? I would say obsessive paired with sporadic. It kind of, when I went all in when I had my paper out money or money from mowing lawns, shoveling snow. Like that's where my money went. My money went to comic cards, comics. As I got a little bit older, I dove into the next level of nerdiness and really got into tabletop Warhammer 40K. And that is not a cheap hobby at all. And so a lot of my money went toward that as well. But I would spend my money when I had it. And then if I didn't, that's fine. I just enjoyed it. Like I would flip through my Wizard magazines, or I would just look through my comics when I wasn't buying. But I tried to keep up. I wasn't a big set collector early on. I just liked the art. So like that kind of thing it wasn't a big deal to me to collect a set. It was like, man, I just liked looking at all the different characters. I think really early on, one of my favorite Marvel characters before I really got introduced to Cable in 92 was right before that. It was with Shatterstar. I also really liked Colossus. I thought Colossus was pretty awesome. But the world of the X-Men, the mutants, always spoke to me. I think in the same way.
That's your heart, huh?
I think, yeah, the same way that people really love Spidey or the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
That's how I felt about the mutants and the X-Men universe.
Nice. Especially, I mean, in the 90s, we had the cartoon.
Right. And that definitely helped. Even though growing up, we didn't have cable. We had little bunny ears. I didn't get Fox when I was growing up. So when I would stay over at friends' houses,
Yeah.
if they had Fox, best believe I was awake. And we were watching Saturday morning cartoons on Fox.
That's what's
just so
up.
I can watch that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So collect everything. So you go everything from the tabletop games, comics, cards.
I did, yeah.
So are you kind of like a lot of us, like me, for example? I was hard into this during the 90s as well, but then high school years, which is, you know, the late 90s, you know, getting into young adulthood, early 2000s, I really wasn't into it too much. I mean, it was always there. I always had my collection. I mean,
yeah.
Is that where you were too, or did you go the whole stretch?
Honestly, I think the last set I can remember buying was 94 Masterpieces. And so that was right before I was getting into high school. And then music then became my obsession. You know, and I've been a drummer. I've been playing drums since I was 3.
Nice.
Elementary school, junior high, it was just kind of a thing I did. I tried playing football in 7th grade. You know, it's the first year you can go out. And of course, all the guys, they want to go out for football. I ended up contracting, having whatever you want to call it. It's called Bo Jackson syndrome. The name's like this long on paper in A-type font. You know, it's a really long name. So I'm what, 12 years old, 12, 13. And I'm being told, well, 5% of the cartilage is left in your hip socket. So we're going to have to pin your leg back into your pelvis so it doesn't fall out.
Damn.
So that put a pretty quick hold on sports for me.
Yeah, I can imagine, man.
And then I really dove into music at that point. I still read some of the comics and stuff, but music's just kind of where I turned to at that point, you know, and that's when I started practicing my rudiments and doing a lot of like the snare work and things like that. And drumming became kind of a form of physical therapy too, once I was able to start moving my leg again. So yeah, I mean, that's where I think that's where all my money shifted. Went from comics and tabletop and all that to gear and drum heads and drumsticks and, you know, all that type of stuff. So, and then I started collecting, you know, drum stuff too, like drum keys. There's a little guy in here that's like, I like to collect and hoard things that are cool. I don't know. You know,
so they have collector drum keys.
Well, they have different types of drum keys. They have like vintage drum keys.
You might have to tell everybody what you mean by drum keys. I don't know if everybody knows.
Oh, sure. So a drum key, I know I've got one on my desk somewhere, but a drum key essentially is just, here it is. It's just a little thing that you use to tighten the heads on your drums. And, you know, don't ask me why I decided to start collecting them. There's a bunch of different types and the different manufacturers that make them. And so I was like, I'm going to get a drum key from every manufacturer. And so
cool.
It's just kind of
some people collect, you know, picks, straps, you know, guitar. Exactly. I'm a guitarist, right? I mean, we have very similar paths. That's kind of what I did in my high school years. I mean, I got into high school and, you know, I was all of a sudden it was music and girls and whatever, you know, not comics. It was kind of the nerdy thing to do. And it was like, nah.
Yeah. It wasn't.
It was always there.
Then that's for sure.
Nice. But I'm a guitarist, so I went that direction. So you and I resonate a lot on the music thing. So tell me about your music. Like what do you do? Are you still active? What kind of styles? What do you like?
Oh man. So I mean, I think if you've ever been in one of my shows on Whatnot, generally I play a lot of metal, hard rock. Mm-hmm. But growing up in a musical family, I was in jazz band in high school, the symphony, you know, so I mean, a lot of classical music, a lot of jazz.
Nice.
I like just about every type of music, except for the most part, there's a lot of rap I don't like. There's a lot of country I don't like. and now, I've very consciously made the choice to where now I'm just listening to nothing but Christian metal and hard rock. And there are some amazing Christian metal and hard rock bands that I never knew existed.
Yeah, everything exists anymore, right?
True.
I really do think that. I mean, I've seen. So, who's your favorite Christian band, metal band? Let's say metal. Let's stick that. Cards of Metal. You know what I mean?
Okay, so favorite Christian metal band? I would say right now it's probably Holy Name is what they're called.
Okay.
And they they are heavy. They are really heavy. If I shout out a song, like the one that hooked me is a song called Ritual. So
Nice.
Yeah,
you gotta send it to me.
I will.
Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah.
I want to check that out.
Yeah,
okay.
They're really good. Another band I just listen to on a daily basis is another one called Nine Lashes. I don't think they're around anymore. Their last album was 2014, but so good. A little bit more on the hard rock. It's not so much metal, more on the hard rock side.
Okay, cool.
But I mean, growing up though, my favorite band of all time was Alice in Chains.
Okay, nice.
Tool was another one. Deftones. These are like my main drumming influences. Sean Kinney, the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold was one that kind of entered into the mix a little bit later. I didn't really get into them until I saw a live video of the Rev, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe these guys aren't as like cheesy rock radio as they were sounding.
Yeah,
and it's very much the case. As I learned, the stuff that you heard on the radio with them was just kind of the surface. They really are phenomenal musicians and songwriters. And the Rev was one of them. It really sucks that he's gone.
Yep. I agree. Nice, man. So kind of the alternative type thing. I actually do listen to some Christian, if you want to call them death metal bands.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're out there.
They exist, man. You've ever heard of Impending Doom?
I have. Yeah. Yeah, and they are heavy. And it's funny because they don't call it black metal. They call it white metal for Christian. Yeah.
They got what's called a repentagram.
Yes.
It's pretty wild, right? But it's good. I actually really like them. They're a good band.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Okay, cool. Music, dude, love it, man. That's amazing. So going into music, what got you back into where you are with the Graymalkin Gaming, like actually getting into collecting hardcore again? Because I'm assuming you're a hardcore collector. I mean, I've seen the stuff you're selling on Whatnot.
Yeah,
that's the shit you're selling. The shit you got stashed away. I can only imagine.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of it, is mostly PC stuff. I do have the sets that I really enjoy. I've got those stashed away. But okay, so oddly enough, like the bridge that kind of brought me back to collecting was Pokemon.
Okay.
Getting into Pokemon later in life reintroduced me to Marvel cards. And so, this is all because of the pandemic.
Yep.
For a while I was modding for a bunch of content creators on Twitch. I was helping do, brand building, social media management and things like that. And one of the guys, it was all gaming. One of the guys was like, man, I used to love Pokemon. And he started selling cards on Twitch. I was like, dude, this is weird. Like, who's coming to Twitch to buy cards, And then I started seeing more people do it. I'm thinking, all right, maybe I'm the weird one, because this is totally foreign to me. I would have never guessed that this would be a thing. And so he started selling Pokemon. He went full-time with that. He didn't even do games anymore on Twitch. And he was just doing nothing but Pokemon streams. And so one day he gets a bunch of Japanese product in, and he was like, oh, hey guys, I've got these Marvel cards. And it was Hero Battle. I think series 2 or 3. And I was like, oh man, Marvel cards. I used to collect those when I was a kid. That's pretty cool. So he opened up a couple packs because he wanted to see what they looked like. And I think right out of the gate, he hit the Iron Man MR, so the big box hit.
Yeah.
And the foiling and the art, I was just like, is this what Marvel cards look like right now? Like, are Marvel cards even still a thing? And that was it, man. That was the gateway card, was Hero
There it
Battle
is.
from Caillou. I started getting into those. Then I started doing the Googling on, what Marvel cards are there. Found out there's a good 15 years of cards that I totally missed, missed out on all the Rittenhouse goodness and a lot of the early Upper Deck stuff. Thankfully, there was still plenty to be found at that point, with the exception of some sets. But yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. And I talk about it on our shows too. Like, Hero Battle is what brought me into it. And I find it funny that the foreign cards can be kind of polarizing for people.
Yeah.
So people, there's like, I don't want to, I want to be able to read my cards, or they don't like the TCG look of it.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. To each their own, right? We collect what we like, and we collect what we enjoy. So for me, I didn't even see words on there. Some of the art, the foiling, the way that they did the effects on their cards just completely sucked me back in.
Yeah, Hero Battles, they've got some really good cards in there. And I think you're right. I think it's the TCG, the round corners, the thin card stock, you can't read what it says on it. It still feels like a playing card, whatever. Yeah, I've got tons of I've got stacks of them so like all over the place. Actually, I can see some. They're just they're there, but I can't get rid of them.
Yeah,
they're great cards.
So much base.
Yeah, I try selling them for 10 for $1. And like, no.
Yeah,
20 for $1.
It's almost not even worth the work to do it.
Yeah, then you got to package it.
We've done a bunch of like kids packs. I've got them all set up to take them to the local children's hospital and donate them over there.
There you go.
And it just taking the time to do it. I need to get them out of the house, and I think that the kids would really enjoy them too. But
I was going to give them away for Halloween, but I don't get trick or treaters.
Same.
None. Like literally none.
Trick or treaters either. Yeah, we don't have a lot of kids in our neighborhood anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't give them away. Well, nice. So, Whatnot? How'd you get to Whatnot?
So, from the Pokemon streams, then Marvel, one of the guys was like, hey, I'm actually going to start doing this over on an app called Whatnot. Cool. Let's check it out. And then I found Marvel cards, hopped into a show, and this would have been right before Spidey Metal had come out.
Okay.
I remember being on it for a couple of weeks, and then just boom, every Marvel stream when Spidey Metal dropped, it was just metal. And I thought, okay, this is awesome. So I started watching shows, I jumped into your shows, Southern Hype, Brian's, and just started watching, started ingraining myself into the community. I realized that I remembered a lot from when I was a kid and when I collected, and saw a lot of those old 90s cards that, I think for so many of us just kind of really brought back that nostalgia and that kid-like enjoyment of collecting something, but then being an adult and kind of looking at it from a different perspective and saying, oh man, this is, this art really was so good. I really wish I wouldn't have stuck these on a clothespin and put them in my bike to make my bike feel like a moped,
Dude, that's kind of what got me back in a little bit, was trying to replace some of those ones that were not so taken care of. But sure. I was a weird kid, man. I put them in envelopes and, sleeves and everything, dude. Like I did the whole damn thing, I took care of them for the most part anyway. But dude, Spider-Man Metal, that was an interesting time, wasn't it? Because just before that was X-Men Metal.
Yeah.
You had Masterpieces. So that was 2020 Masterpieces that just came out.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm trying to think. There's not really. That's when Upper Deck. That was the pandemic. That's when Upper Deck didn't really put very many sets out. You had I mean, literally, you had like maybe annuals, you had Flare that came out just right before that, X-Men Metal, then there's a big gap, then Masterpieces, and then Spider-Man Metal was like supposed to be the holy grail of cards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's how people talked about it too. I mean, when it dropped, people were absolutely ecstatic,
Yeah.
and me coming in from the outside, not really understanding it, not realizing the high end side of Marvel collecting, of the cards, and then seeing packs go for like 40 and $50 a piece. I was like, these people are out of their mind. This is insane, like
insane, man.
And
do you remember how much they were when they first dropped? Like, because you had the pre-order. Do you remember how much they were? Let's say like David Adams.
I want to no, because it's funny. My first exposure to those sets being sold was through Whatnot. Like I didn't even know David Adams. I didn't know
really? Okay.
City. Yeah, none of that stuff.
On release, I can probably. I'm trying to think. On release for something like that is probably the highest release Marvel set. It was for Upper Deck for sure. It was $850 a box.
Yeah, that's what I would have guessed. I would have guessed it should have been somewhere around there. But then I remember seeing the boxes jumping up to $650, $700.
Yeah,
and then packs were getting close to $85 a pack. Like, I was like, dang, this is wild. This is really crazy.
You know how much they are now?
Yeah, I mean, and now it's almost like, oh, $50 a pack, all right. which is
Dude, they're like $350 a box, maybe $400.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember why?
Why the drop or why?
Yeah. The drop. I mean, the hype. We can speculate on the hype.
Yeah.
If you want to get it,
drop, I don't know if I realized, unless it was just. And is there something specific that had happened?
No, they're just a couple of things, I think, actually. But main thing is their shit. There was nothing worse than when I was doing breaks on there and hitting dud box after dud box. Having what we call the gold box, no serial numbers, all gold box. Some of them were tore up, bent or whatever.
I do remember seeing a couple of those.
It happened way more often than it should.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
pretty sure
everybody got scared.
You saw you hit a couple of those.
Yeah. And I'm selling them for $60 a pack or whatever. Yeah. It's like
terrible. It's terrible, even though it's not your fault.
Yeah.
You feel like, well, I got to do something. And, thankfully you're a cool dude and you did the right thing. I know, but yeah, I mean, obviously the quality control, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. I wasn't sure if there was something specifically that forced that drop, if it was just a mass realization of, okay, these things are getting cut by little kids with butter knives and we're spending way too much money to take these risks.
Yeah. I mean, I think the price is leveled out to where it can be worth it because the PMGs are worth, I mean, they're pretty valuable out of that set. They really are. I mean, especially if you had a green, but I mean, it was just not like X-Men Metal where you had a green pretty much every single case. I mean, it was pretty rare when you didn't have one. You always got PMGs. I mean, I've ripped cases where I had one red PMG. It's kind of like 92 Platinum. I mean, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think most people kind of fell off of that. And that's kind of where the hype of everything right after Spider-Man Metal, here comes the flood of Whatnot sellers.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm guessing too, the accessibility to the retail products, the blasters, kind of gave folks a way in.
That was the first Marvel blaster set. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, coming back to it late, I don't know how much retail product there was like that where you could go to Walgreens or Target or Walmart or whatever, any of those big box stores and pick those cards up. I mean, everything else was hobby. I remember seeing one stream, guy was doing X-Men Metal. I wish I could remember because it'd be fun to remember whose shows these were. But he had the Deadpool Palladium. And I remember thinking, this is one of the coolest cards I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's sick.
And that following, it was maybe a day or 2 days after, the fam and I, we went to our local card shop where we were getting our Pokemon. And I remember seeing boxes of X-Men metal on the shelf. I was like, oh man, I should get some X-Men metal. And they wanted the crazy price, $199 for 12 packs in that box. And at that time, I was like, I'll never.
Oh man, for X-Men metal, yeah.
I can spend this much money on 36 packs of Pokemon, and you're wanting me to get a third of that for a little bit. You know, my view was skewed on it, obviously. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't know, and I wasn't around for the X-Men metal. I came in right after that, but didn't know it. Obviously, if I could go back, I would have grabbed
$200 is
every
crazy.
single box I could have for $200.
Dude, when I started getting back into buying boxes, I bought a lot of like retro stuff. Like when I got back into it like 2012 around, like full force buying boxes, right?
Yeah.
One of the main things I was doing was searching for the Jim Lee auto and X-Men, 92 X-Men. I mean, I crushed those boxes, dude. They were like $30 a box.
Yeah.
It was like I could just buy as many as I wanted, you know, and just go through them. Never hit one, by the way. And then I started getting into the retros. Obviously, that was 2013 afterwards, once they started coming out. And dude, I saw that price, same thing, 200 and I think it was 220, 230 a box.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's a lot of money for a box. You know, I'm used to paying 30, 40, $50 for, you know, 94 Flair or whatever.
And you're getting what, 30? How many packs came in the series one? Was it 36?
No, it was 20.
It was 20.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. 10 per inner box. Yeah. You know, I was like, man, that's quite a bit of money. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to bite the bullet because I seen, you know, I know what PMGs were. You know, I did some research. I figured out what they were. And my first box, I hit a Glebe, Thor, and Hulk sketch. I didn't even know what the hell it was, dude.
That'll do it, though.
Oh, I opened it and looked at it. I'm like, there's texture on this.
Yeah.
Like I told my wife, I'm like, I think this is actually painted. Like I didn't really know what sketch cards were. You know, like we didn't have sketch cards when we were kids.
Nope.
Not really, not until 96, right? So it's like, yeah, I was hooked back in.
Jeez.
$200 didn't sound so bad for a real piece of art.
What a way to get hooked too, man. A freaking Glebe.
Yeah, it was, and good Glebe too. I mean, sorry, I've seen some of their newer stuff's not too bad, but there's a stretch where everything I saw, I'm like, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah. It's funny. I think artists kind of go through that too in their phases. Not all of them.
Yeah.
You know, but there's certainly some of those artists where you look at it and you're like, oh man, I love this. And then you're like, is this really from the same person? When you hold the two up, like, really?
Oh, dude, I was, and it's all perspective too, right? Like, especially back then, I was selling Liddy Lee sketches for like $30, man.
Dang.
And everybody's selling for 800. I'm thinking it's crazy anyway. I wouldn't pay.
Yeah.
Like, great art. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's madness, man.
Yeah.
So, what made you take a break and whatnot for a while?
Ooh, the hard hitting stuff.
Let's get in. Yeah.
So, what brought about the break? I think the primary reason, because it's layered, right? The primary thing was for a solid 2 years, the wife and I ran what we called the D-Gen crew shows. And that's when we were going on every Friday night, every Saturday night, long week of work. We'd go live about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And we would run until 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. Some mornings 6, you know, just depending on what was going on. 2 years of that is a long time. And
that is.
Personally, I got to a point where I despised the schedule that I now was living in, right? Hated it. Going to bed at 6:30, 7 o'clock. My kids are waking up either at that time or within the hour. They're old enough to where they're very much self-sustaining. You know, at the time, they can get up, take care of themselves, you know, so it's not like we had a baby or anything like that in the house. But sleep away the morning, wake up maybe at noon, 1, work on shipping. It was just all consuming. And I started to have the moment of I'm missing my family's life. Like this life felt very separate from the family. And I really hated how that felt.
I bet.
You
It takes
know,
a toll after that many years.
yeah, you know, and even though it was only a couple of nights a week, it was all the free time we had. You know, Friday nights, it destroyed Saturday because after waking up, I'd clean up, work on shipping, you know, and then prepare for the next show. You know, if we were doing like some sort of break, you know, doing pack drafts, you know, all the different types of formats we used to do, right? So, yeah, I don't want to say it was a burnout, but I think it was in a way a little bit of a burnout.
Yeah.
But also just realizing the time that I was spending here felt misplaced. You know, you guys, everything that we put into the show, which you guys saw on the other side of the camera, that was my best foot forward. And then when I was off camera, I was tired. I was very irritable because I'm dealing now with this internal cycle of need to do a show, can't be disconnected, but you also need to be with your family and you need to plan this. So, you know, you just feel like the hands were inside and just starting to pull you apart in a way.
Yeah. And especially when you're doing shows like that, people don't see what's on the other side once you're done. Like the shipping, it's not just throw your cards in an envelope, you know. Well, I mean, it can be with the right people on there. That's, you know, we get Ziploc bags and all that fun stuff. But like your shipping, my shipping, other people that are legitimately on there, they spend their time making sure that those cards arrive there because it's a cardboard. I mean, USPS, and I mean, that's who we all ship through because that's Whatnot.
Right.
They don't care. They'll throw your shit across the room. Like literally, they probably kick your packages, you know. And so it's like I've seen packages with footprints on them.
Yeah. Same.
And cards. Yeah. So the work that goes into making sure it gets there safely is quite a bit on the other side that they don't see, and that takes a lot.
Yeah.
Especially if you're running shows like what you were doing.
Absolutely. You know, the shipping. I mean, and after an 8-hour show, you know, we'd have stacks of, you know, team bags for people. So, you know, it's not like it was just 5 or 6 here and there. You know, it was dozens. Yeah. I mean, you know, you've had those big shows where you're running box after box after box and you're going through boxes and envelopes. So yeah, it became severely out of balance. And I started then to internally deal with the guilt of missing out on time with my kids, especially the guilt of knowing some days I had a very short fuse and no patience. So I knew I was quick to snap, you know, if they're frustrating me with it the way kids do, you know.
Yeah.
So that was a large part of it.
You're a good man. Taking care of the family, dude. That's, you know, I've got a lot of kids too, and
yeah, you got yourself a little rude. I think you got twice mine, right? You have 6.
I have 5.
You have 5. All right, so
yeah.
Anyway, so I mean, you're playing zone, and we're playing a shallow zone, but you're playing zone defense over there.
Yeah, luckily they're getting a little bit older, and they can handle themselves a little bit.
Which is nice. Yeah, it's definitely nice.
Well, and I'm going to open this up to questions here in a little bit because I like to do that a little bit, have some Q&A for people.
Yeah.
But since we're on the subject of Whatnot, like once you got back, how's the landscape changed? What have you seen?
Quite a bit, which I know you know, and I'm sure you know anybody tuning in live and anyone who will watch this post live can certainly agree, especially if you're around, you know, 2020, 2021, when if there were 10 Marvel shows on a Friday night, you were like, whoa,
what's going
crazy
on?
You know, like, what's happening right now? But yeah, I mean, the landscape has definitely changed. I feel like the platform definitely opened up the floodgates because I'm pretty sure you still probably have to apply to become a seller.
No.
Yeah, and maybe you don't, but I mean, do you remember you had to take pictures? What are you going to sell? You had to like prove that you weren't just coming on to be a seller. Like you had to have, a very high level business plan to present to them to say, well, I'd really like to be a seller on your platform,
I've talked about this, and actually this is kind of one of the things I wanted to bring up, is because I think Whatnot's lost their integrity. I mean, that's the definition of it, right? They don't care. All they care about is the money. Because what's the difference between somebody who's a business giving them the same percentage as somebody who's just selling their shit just because they need to get rid of it, right? It doesn't matter, right? Yeah. Before, Whatnot was you give them your EIN, you gave them all your socials, you told them what you're going to sell, when you're going to sell. I mean, it was when I first applied, I was told it was a 6-month waiting time.
Yeah.
And I got in 3 weeks, I believe. And I was just like, whoa, what was going on? But I had all my socials. I had a following already from, Instagram and YouTube or, all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
But yeah, now it's just like, hey, sign up, schedule your show. I mean, I went to, did you have to do like an onboarding video, like a conference call and all that fun stuff?
Onboarding live call to, kind of go through, best practices and some of the rules and things like that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Brian's saying, yeah, he's right. He's on there. He's saying eBay sells. Yeah. I had to give my eBay. I had to give my Instagram. I had to give, everything. I mean, I think I can't remember. It's been so long, but I had to give him pretty much a business model, what we were going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And, so, I think, turning point seemed to be, and for anyone who's been a part of the shows, you've heard me talk about it. We even said it in real time as it was happening, was with Platinum.
Yeah.
Platinum got released and it had the sports setup. It had the mass appeal to the sports collector with 19 different parallels, 11 different numbered, all these different variants of the cards to make this gigantic set. And it's not that we didn't have numbered cards in previous sets. It just wasn't to this degree. And like, it was definitely, I think, more thought out and a little bit more unique to the set.
Yeah.
It wasn't this copy paste formula that was applied to Platinum. And now it's just ad nauseum. Now every set, the pump and dump, the great upper deck dump prior to losing the license, all follow that format. And so going back to the question of, why the break, tying it into the landscape, the scene changing, you started to see just all these big sports shops coming in, break after break after break. These guys, in many cases, entertainment cards, Marvel cards, whatever the category was to them on their ledger, those were loss leaders in many cases.
Yeah.
They're loss leaders. They could afford to come on with brand new sets. I remember Flair Ultra Avengers being one of these. And there was this card and comic shop, and they were running packs for $1. And so the hobbyist sellers, which I think is probably an apt description for us, we do have our businesses because, we need to protect ourselves. But the hobbyist seller, I mean, how can I compete with $1 pack?
Yeah.
It just, all of a sudden the floodgates open and it was no longer feasible.
Yeah. Elaborate on this for me. Elaborate loss leader, so people know what you mean.
Oh, sure. So a loss leader, like in any retail setup, is where you have, we'll just use sports and Marvel. Sports, for many hobby shops, generate the vast majority of the revenue that they need year to year for growth, to break even, whatever, right? Loss leaders then come in these are things that they get because of allocation, right? So one of the places that I used to get my cards, he told me straight up, he's like, I can sell these for whatever, really. He's like, I make all my money in baseball and in football and in hockey, whatever sports he was selling at the time. He just got them in because they were allowed for him to be ordered, So he didn't care if he lost money, because that loss then is covered by the revenue generated from his bread and butter. The entertainment cards, the Marvel cards, what have you, those are condiments on the plate. The sports cards are the entree for these guys, and so they came in, and initially, I think, like a lot of folks, we were kind of like, man, this sucks. This is bull.
We've had conversations about this behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've talked about this, and it took. Remember when we were like, how the hell is this even possible? How are these guys selling this shit for that low? Because it just doesn't make sense for them to lose money. And I mean, it's the writing's on the wall, right? It just took us a second to really like, oh man,
yeah,
that's what's going on. Until I talked to my local card shop, and it was laid out to me the same way.
Yeah. So initially, there was definitely resentment, and there was certainly some anger, and I didn't know where to put it. Like, I guess really what it boils down to now, being able to step back and look at it like, business is business. We're a capitalistic society, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We just had to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
And,
what are you going to do, right?
I mean, I would tell people, would message me, hey man, I really wanted to jump in, but these guys are selling these packs for $5. And I'm like, man, I get it. I do the same thing. I mean, nobody has, at least I don't think, maybe there's a couple of guys I can think of that seem to have a finite amount of money and disposable income.
Yeah.
So, you got to go where the deals are. It certainly changed things. And so
absolutely,
I stopped getting the product that I was getting, because he then decided, oh, I can just go do this myself. So I got cut off at the knees on the plug that I had for the product I was getting. I had another guy who, he gave me decent deals, but then he cut his ties with Upper Deck.
No,
he's like, I'm sick of these guys. I hate the way that they do business. So here's what I have, and I'm not going to be getting anything more. Okay, great. So now I'm left with the two outlets the vast majority of people have to go through as well. And that's, DNA, Steel City, or
we're at the retail mercy, aren't we?
Yeah. So
that's true.
It just became a situation where, all right, well, maybe now's the time to step back. Stopped running the shows, started focusing more on the family, and that felt really good to, I guess, reallocate the time.
Yeah.
Jump back, reassess, try to figure out, okay, well, I do have an office. I mean, you can kind of see some of it behind me, but it just shelves and shelves of cards, singles, and I mean, even still some comics. What do I do with those? And so I started doing some singles shows here and there. A lot of it was to help supplement some income, because in that time too, things were going really well for the shows. Product was flowing in, it was not, things were going great. Yeah. And I got to a point with the full-time job where I took the plunge and said, I think I can do this full time, and really kind of chase the dream of starting virtual and then maybe trying to build it into a brick and mortar where it's not just cards, but always wanted to have just a game shop too, board games, like a board game cafe type of thing. Games are always big in my family growing up. And when the missus and I, when we first started dating, very early on, I found out that she was big into Magic when she was a kid. I was like, oh, that's awesome. So then we got into Magic together,
Yeah.
and that was dangerous. Oh man, that was dangerous. Adult money and boxes of Magic. I mean, they go together, but they should not go together. we started going absolutely ham on Magic for a while. And then the fatigue of standard rotations started to set in, releasing new sets every couple of months. It was like, okay, I remember now why I got out of Magic in the first place, because this is insane.
Crazy.
This is insane. Plus we had little kids at the time too. So it was like, well, do we buy Magic or should we get diapers?
Yeah. Well, you gotta separate degen and adult life, right? You gotta.
I guess so.
So what I'll do is, if anybody has any questions, we'll just keep talking. But if somebody wants to throw questions out there for Gray, we'll answer those.
Yeah, bring them on.
Yeah, one thing it didn't get any better too, man. I mean, with the Topps acquisition, I mean, I hate turning it into a shit fest with this. It's just what it is. It's like Upper Deck kind of started doing that, like you said, with Platinum, but I think that was like them preparing you for Topps because it's so similar.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we got Topps, and now we're here, and I don't like their model. I like their model way worse than Upper Deck. Yeah. It's just because that is the model. The model is to take over the streams. It is the model. If you have a brick and mortar store, you will not get allocation. This is what I was told. You're not getting your allocation unless you do streams, and there's a regimen you have to follow to make that work. So it's just.
And I've found it interesting too, because around that same time they had the big announcement of Fanatics Live.
Yep.
And then they started to mandate that anybody who is breaking Topps and were authorized dealers, that they needed to be doing it over there. So I remember we would have those conversations and hypothesizing, well, at what point are we going to see Marvel cards now having to be ripped over on Fanatics Live? Obviously, that's not the case. I'm kind of surprised. And maybe the structure for Fanatics Live has changed a bit too. Because during that break, I shut everything off. I disconnected. And so it's been kind of interesting coming back to try to play a little bit of catch up. I think what's been kind of energizing and refreshing at the same time is the old saying of the more things change, the more things stay the same.
Yeah.
So seeing a lot of the familiar faces.
That's nice.
There's still a great side to the community, and now it's just, you have to sift through a little bit more weeds to get through it.
Well, like when I jumped on I thought it was probably your first show back, I think, wasn't it? Everybody was popping in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're like, hey, what's up? And even me, because I have to comment on the comment from one of the posts saying, once a Marblehead, always a Marblehead. Not true. I'm not a Marblehead. That's why I named it this, because I love Marvel, don't get me wrong, but I'm not gung-ho anymore. I'm not hardcore into that. Yes, I'm going to collect some. I've dumped a lot of Marvel cards because there's a lot of things, and I'm going to progress with this. I'm not just going to go into this on. I've kind of talked about this in my last couple episodes. I'll continue to do that to get more into it about why am I where I'm at. But yeah, Topps is that acquisition has just been an issue, and it's good when I see somebody like yourself get back on there, and we're still doing Marvel. We can still go on there. We can still talk and BS like we're old friends, because we are. Right. But it's like you never left.
Yeah, and sometimes it feels that way too. It's like, oh man, there really wasn't a gap.
On the good part of never leaving.
And I think it's funny too, because when the Topps thing was announced, everyone was like, oh, I wonder how it's going to be. I wonder what it's going to be like. And I remember having a conversation with, man, was it Druss? Did I see Druss's name in the chat?
He's right there, yeah.
But
yeah, he's right there.
One of the Star Wars guys. And they were like, well, it's probably going to be a lot like how they do Star Wars sets. And I thought, well, that makes perfect sense. It's already set up for them to copy and paste that formula.
Yeah.
but just now make it Marvel, and it seems basically it's what they've done. They've taken the process that they have for Star Wars, the same sets, the sapphires, the chromes, whatever else.
Copy paste insert. It's where
it's easy for them to print it all off. It's not for me. I have not seen really anything generally that I'm like, oh, this is cool. I think I'd like to collect it. I've seen some of the inserts, and I had a lot of fun with the what is it, the Topps Collect app, because
I know some people that do that.
Digital cards that you could get, like a lot of like the lenticular style. They have brought some of those to life, and those have been pretty neat.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're just not my thing. And that's just a me thing, like you said earlier, it's collecting is a very subjective topic.
We'll always find something. I think that's just it's the condition. It's what we do. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's music, which that's always going to be my collection too. I'm a metalhead, a music guy. I'm going to always do that. I'm going to collect cards. Whether it's Marvel, which I'd like to go back to it one day. I do like the Cosmos. That's pretty. They've got some nice stuff in there. To be honest, I really like some of that.
Yeah, they do. It seems like
ever do it. Who knows?
The foreign stuff might see the uptick that we're seeing on Whatnot right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Cosmos shows. Have you seen a lot of the stuff from Peru? The Collectoon stuff?
The ones you were doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see some of those. Those are nice. Yeah.
A lot more shows have those right now. And I think it's just the community saying, this is what we prefer right now.
Yeah.
We want good art. It doesn't have to be original, although original art's great. Original art. But, Peru and Cosmos both have done a really nice job curating the images that they chose.
Yeah, you've got to do it for the collector, not for the flipper or just the sports guy who just needs to make their money. And that's what I see Topps as, and unfortunately I'm starting to see that with Invincible a little bit.
Are you?
Oh yeah, it's already been milked to death. In fact, check this out. You want to see what I got today?
Sure.
I got this today.
Like a little show and tell. Oh, wow.
I got the short print version actually, which is nice. I'm super stoked about this actually because it's
okay.
I never get the variants, and I finally got the variant. It happens to be my guy Invincible.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, he's gonna blow up, I believe, but I'm afraid, going through Marvel and what I've seen happen when it blows up. I've been in Marvel before it blew up, and it blew up, and look where I'm at. I'm doing podcasts that say I'm an ex-Marvelhead. I don't want to say an ex-Invincible head either, man.
Yeah, next maybe season 2 or volume 2 of the podcast will be Diary of Ex-Marvel and Invincible, and it'll be Harry Potter. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Met with going to Spawn, or I still love Spawn too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
good stuff. We should be getting a movie soon, I believe.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always some cards out there. I used to like, I don't know if you were on my shows when I was doing like Rick and Morty cards. I did Playboy cards. I did bench warmers. I dabble.
Stupid bench warmers. You got me on one of those shows. I was like, oh, fine, I'll go. You had just pulled, I think, a 1 of 1.
Yeah.
Or something out of 3.
Dude, there's so many of 1-on-1s. It's like, super limited print runs. Super limited.
Which I didn't realize at the time. I was like, yeah, fine, I'll take a shot on.
They're hard to get.
I got an out of 3, and I'm pretty sure I lost $6 on the pack when I resold it.
It was a good time. It was fun though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on, man. Well, great. It's been good, man. You want to, shout yourself out, tell us what you're going to be doing next, where they can find you.
Oh, sure, man. So yeah, I appreciate that. We're on Instagram. We just recently shot some content. I'd like to get YouTube fired back up a little bit. That takes time, so I got to make the time to do that. But otherwise, I'm trying to just do some singles and request shows a couple times a week on Whatnot. Break the occasional box. It's Graymalkin Gaming there. And then I'm also firing up the graphic design portion of the business again, too. And so we're doing break mats, business card designs. I mean, merch. You can do it all. You know, I mean, we can design pretty much anything. And as you go around.
Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's graymalkingaming.com. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. And pull your look. Can you pull your logo over?
Yes, I can.
It's off the screen a little bit.
I see that.
There we go. Right there. There we go. Yeah. So everybody check him out. Give him a follow on Instagram, YouTube, the website. Nice mask, man.
Yeah. I thought for half a second, I thought about, because this is like a big face reveal for me too. I've never
I don't think I've seen your face. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when we were firing up, I actually thought about
just doing that one,
showing up on camera like this.
Oh, I'd be giving shit the whole time too. I'd be like,
not really done a face reveal or anything like that.
Well, we could have done one right halfway through or something, right?
Yeah.
Big face reveal.
But it's all right. I mean, if you're in any of the Facebook groups, people can see my face there, but a lot of the times they don't know it's me. So yeah, but this has been great. I grabbed you had said if I wanted to grab any of like my favorite cards.
Yeah, let's see them. Let's do show and tell.
So this is the stack, but it's all the same card.
Okay.
And oddly enough, it's really the first serious rainbow chase that I have gone on. And the irony is not lost.
Ah, there we go.
And I really love the art of Cable from Platinum. I am 3 cards away from completing the rainbow to my satisfaction. I'm pretty sure the one of one's already been found. And to me, I don't care about the super low numbers. You know, that was a realization I had too, was like, I don't have to prove my love or my enjoyment for a character in my buying habit, you know? Yeah. And I feel like for a while, like it became a thing like, oh, well, you don't have so-and-so from this year of a set. You're not a serious collector. You know, there was kind of that stigma and almost the societal pressure in a way.
Then you're a Marvelhead.
That's see a lot of people go nuts, right? They buy everything.
That's the Marvelhead, dude. That's the whole thing.
Character on it. And it was fun while doing it, and then I realized this is kind of silly. Even if I had all the money in the world, I still won't acquire every single Cable card. You know, it won't happen. And that's okay. So I've become a lot more selective in choosing the art that I enjoy the most, you know, which is a lot of his like 90s looks.
Yeah.
The era of Cable that I just did not like was like the new X-Force era, the orange and silver and his gigantic claw of an arm and him using this gigantic Psi staff. I was like, oh man, this is not the Cable. This is not the Cable that I like. So I don't have a lot of the art from that era of Cable. Young Man Cable too, even though the Platinum is the young version, that's one of the few that I do like of Young Cable from the awesome. I forget which timeline it is, but
dude, that is a great card too. I actually really like that Cable.
Yeah, when I first got it, I was like, dang, I really
I'm stuck out. Here we go.
I like the different parallels in Platinum too. So
it's the one that we have a million of.
Yeah, it's funny how that worked out. So yeah,
right,
so yeah, no, I appreciate it. If anyone's looking for a break mat, or if you want me to help you design some merch, you know, whatever it is, we can absolutely do that. You know, we're trying to be diversified over here, and I'm still trying to find that full-time something. But in the meantime, I'm still trying to grow GGC again. You know what I mean? So
any last words of advice for everybody?
The
I'd
imparting
like to finish it
words.
off that way. Yeah.
So I think that something we've talked about since coming back and doing shows more regularly is I just want people to have fun doing what they're doing. Don't put all this pressure on you to have to feel like you need to do something. Don't feel like you have to buy stuff. If you're content with what you got, be content with what you got. Because when it's all said and done, all these things, all these cards, all this crap in the background, guess what? This isn't coming with us when we die. This is stuff of the world. Our goal is not to be of the world. Our goal is to make sure we've got eternal life with God our Father. And this stuff is just here, I suppose, for entertainment and to enjoy while we're here. You know, focus on the things that matter. That was the main shift I had to, I guess, realign myself with. I didn't mean to get so heavy.
Yeah.
Right?
No, dude, I love it, dude. I love it. I love the authenticity. That's what I'm shooting for here, man. I that's why I say don't hold back on anything. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, that's become a part of my mission in doing these shows. Is I have daily scripture, and we dive into the Bible at the end of every single one of our shows, because I think it's important that everybody knows Jesus Christ died for us, rose for us, paid a debt we could never pay. And my strength and my faith in the time away is what has carried me through some pretty dark times in those, 11 to 15-ish months. I realized the good it's done me, and I just want that for everybody.
Awesome.
I want it for everybody. So
as a Christian, I can appreciate that, man.
Yeah, it's important. Everybody needs to know.
Absolutely. We live in crazy times, man.
We do. Gotta plant seeds. Gotta plant seeds while we can.
Right on, dude. Well, I'm gonna have you on again sometime.
Would love to, man. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
I really appreciate you coming on here, dude. This is awesome. Good talk. I appreciate the words of wisdom, all the good stuff, man.
Yeah, likewise.
Right.
Thank you very much. And if people were saying hey in chat and stuff like that, I'm so sorry. I did not have it open, and I just want to say thanks for being here, and I hope you guys
thank you, everybody. Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing we want to do. We don't want to address it too much, but everybody who joined, we appreciate it. I did have a question to answer, but no one asked anything, so it was like, all right, we're just gonna keep going. Yeah, we tried. We tried.
An open book. I guess there's no questions. Everybody knows what they need to know right now. So,
right on, man. I appreciate you.
Likewise.
All right, guys.
Thanks
everybody. Until next time, we'll see you probably this end of this week sometime.
Sweet.
All right.
Make sure you follow
this guy too. Yes. Later, guys.
See ya.